Young and the Restless spoilers reveal the story revolves around the complicated twists and turns between Jordan and Claire Newman, which opens up a series of dramatic events, pushing both of them into a tense game of trust, intrigue and hidden truths. In this development, suspicion and tension continue to escalate as Jordan gradually discovers the secrets she once feared. It all started when Jordan suspected that Claire Newman had plotted to poison her. The situation became tense when Claire brought a cup of tea, but prevented Jordan from drinking it. This strange action made Jordan unable to help but suspect that there was something unusual about the cup of tea. Claire's eyes flashed with inexplicable confidence, but that only made Jordan more uneasy. In her heart, a series of questions arose. Why did Claire behave like that? Was this a dangerous trap? Not letting her suspicions overwhelm her, Jordan decided to confront Claire. But instead of getting a satisfactory answer, she was confronted with Claire's harsh and domineering attitude. Claire's words were not only critical, but also contained subtle manipulation. Jordan, although very uncomfortable with Claire's tone, still tried to stay calm to continue the conversation. Claire kept mentioning Sharon Newman, a central figure with great influence in the Newman family. She pressed Jordan to clearly express her views on Sharon, but Jordan realized that this could be another scheme. Claire seemed to be deliberately trying to dig up information, forcing Jordan to reveal something important. This made Jordan even more wary. Jordan understood that Sharon had a strong influence on the way Claire behaved. Claire spoke of Sharon in a cult-like tone, which only reinforced Jordan's fear that the Newmans had ruthlessly and thoroughly controlled Claire. Claire's words, though convincing, only made Jordan more suspicious of her true motives. The situation became more tense when the police got involved, frantically searching everywhere for Jordan. It seemed that Jordan was being accused of being involved in some incident that she had not yet cleared up. While she was trying to escape, Claire suddenly offered her help. She insisted that Jordan needed her to hide safely. Claire appeared extremely confident and sure, as if she held all the keys to protecting Jordan. However, Jordan could not help but feel that this offer was not simply out of kindness. Under the guise of help, Claire might be luring her into another trap. Jordan knew that accepting Claire's help would mean putting herself under the Newmans' control. After intense conversations and strange signs from Claire, Jordan finally realizes a terrifying truth: Claire has been brainwashed by the Newmans. This is exactly what Jordan has feared all along. Claire is no longer herself. She has become a tool of this powerful family, willing to do anything to protect their interests. Claire's overconfidence, her blind loyalty to Sharon Newman, and the way she manipulates Jordan all indicate that Claire is completely under their control. Jordan feels like he is fighting a puppet whose strings are being pulled by a much larger force. Jordan's internal struggle. Jordan now faces a difficult decision: should she trust Claire and accept her help? Or should she continue to run away alone, despite the pursuit of the police and the risk of being harmed by the Newmans? As questions swirl around her head, Jordan slowly comes to understand that she cannot be alone forever. However, she also learns that Claire is no longer the friend she once believed she was. Claire's help may just be part of a larger plot to bring her under the control of the Newmans. Jordan must think carefully and make a decision quickly before it's too late. The confrontation between Jordan and Claire is not only a tense mind game, but also a battle between freedom and control. Jordan understands that to escape this situation, she must not only face Claire but also find a way to fight against the Newman family, a powerful and dangerous force. The story ends with Jordan deciding to keep her faith in herself. Despite knowing that the journey ahead is full of difficulties and dangers, she still chooses to stand up against the forces that are manipulating her life. She knows that truth and freedom are worth fighting for, even if the price may be great. On a dark night, the Newman family faces one of the most dangerous crises they have ever experienced. The scheming Jordan has cornered the family, but remains complacent. Tensions rise as key characters emerge one by one, creating a dramatic and gripping story of loyalty, betrayal, and the desire for freedom. Victoria and Nikki Newman descend to assist Claire. Chaos begins as Victoria Newman and Nikki Newman rush downstairs to assist Claire. They understand that Claire is being pulled into a dangerous situation, with Jordan as the main threat. Victoria, who appears tough but anxious, tries to come up with emergency solutions, while Nikki, the ever-strong mother, tries to stay calm and stabilize the situation. Victor and Nick Newman arrive at the warehouse as the situation escalates. Victor Newman and Nick Newman arrive at the warehouse, where Jordan is taking control. Victor, the powerful man of the family, entered with a cold demeanor, carrying a stern warning. However, Jordan, despite being cornered, still maintained a complacent attitude. With a defiant confidence, she retorted, "If I have to end it, Sharon won't survive the night either." Jordan's words were like a knife stabbing deep into the anxiety of the entire Newman family. Victor and Nick exchanged glances, both understanding that the situation had become much more serious. But the Newman family never backed down before any enemy, and they decided to persevere in confronting Jordan. Jordan's demand: money and a way out. While Victor and Nick tried to control the situation, Jordan made a bold demand. She wanted money and a safe way out. She even offered Victoria or Claire to become her hostage to ensure that the conditions were met. Jordan believes she has everything under control, but she doesn't know that the Newman family is not one to be trifled with. Victor continues to keep his cool, chipping away at Jordan's complacency with sharp words and strategic patience. Sharon seeks freedom between illusion and reality while the Newman family tensely confronts Jordan. Sharon Newman is struggling in her own world. Caught between illusion and reality, Sharon seems to have lost all hope. But the image of Nick, the man she loves deeply, appears in her illusion, giving her strength. "Sharon, you have to stay awake," Nick's voice echoes in her mind, strong and urgent. Those words are like a small fire that rekindles Sharon's will. She gathers all the strength she has left, determined to overcome her fear and despair to find freedom. Sharon is tired of being trapped, and now is the time for her to act. Ian Ward appears, trying to make up with Tessa Porter. Indiana. Another development: Ian Ward, a conflicted character, suddenly appears and seeks out Tessa Porter. Ian, who once sowed hatred in Mariah Copeland's heart, now expresses his desire to make amends. "I want to erase the evil I have done to Mariah," Ian tells Tessa, his face full of remorse. But before he can finish his defense, Mariah suddenly appears. Mariah doesn't give Ian a chance to say more. She cuts him off, her voice sharp, "If you don't leave town immediately, you will collapse and die here." Mariah's anger is evident in every word, and she doesn't hide that forgiveness is something that will never happen. Under pressure from Mariah, Ian is forced to leave, leaving behind a heavy but determined atmosphere. The Newman family faces a bigger challenge. The confrontation between Jordan and the Newmans continues. Although Jordan believes she has everything under control, the Newmans, with their unity and determination, are slowly turning the tide. Victor, with his experience and coldness, is at the heart of the strategy against Jordan, while Nick, Victoria, and Nikki work together to protect Claire and Sharon. When Sharon finally finds the strength to step out of the shadows, she carries with her the hope that she can reunite with her family. But will her efforts be enough to make it before Jordan carries out his brutal plans? Conclusion: the tension continues. The events of this night are just one chapter in the complex and dramatic story of the Newman family. Although they have overcome many challenges, enemies like Jordan and Ian Ward are always a threat that cannot be taken lightly. The Newmans fight not only to protect each other, but also to protect the values they believe in. Internal struggles, complex plots, and intertwined family love have brought The Young and the Restless to a more dramatic climax than ever before. Each character faces personal challenges, fateful decisions, and inevitable consequences. In the latest episode, the conflicts between Mariah, Tessa, Ian, and the Newman family reached an explosive point, pushing every character into irreversible choices. Tessa and Mariah, an argument with no way out. At the beginning of the story, Tessa Porter tried to urge Mariah Copeland to listen to her, suggesting that Ian might be truly sorry and want to make amends. Tessa knew that Ian Ward's past with Mariah was a big wound, but she also felt that hatred would only hurt both sides. "I'm not defending Ian," Tessa said, her voice trembling with determination. "But you have to think about yourself, Mariah. Forgiveness is not for Ian, for yourself." However, these words were like a spark that ignited Mariah's anger. She exploded at Tessa, feeling like she was on Ian's side. "Why are you defending him? Do you know what he did to me?" Mariah shouted, her eyes bloodshot. Tessa, trying to explain that she only wanted Mariah to be freed from the burden of her anger, could not calm the rage in her lover's heart. Mariah left in a rage, leaving Tessa standing there, helpless and heartbroken. She understood that, despite her good intentions, for Mariah, the wounds caused by Ian were too deep to be erased with just advice. Mariah and Sharon's emotional reunion. Leaving Tessa, Mariah wandered through the park, letting the mixed emotions in her heart torment her. She couldn't shake off the anger and pain, but she couldn't help but feel lonely. It was then that she suddenly saw a familiar figure sitting weakly on the bench. Sharon Newman, her mother. "Sharon!" Mariah shouted, running over. Sharon, looking thin and exhausted, seemed to have no strength left. Mariah knelt down beside her, wrapping her arms around her mother. In that moment, all of Mariah's anger and pain seemed to disappear. She felt a rare sense of peace as Sharon leaned on her shoulder. Mariah then quickly called Nick Newman, informing him that she had found Sharon. "Nick, Mom's here. At the park. You have to come right away," she said, choking up. The news was quickly relayed by Nick to the other members of the Newman family, bringing hope and relief to everyone, even though they knew that the threat from Jordan was not over yet. Jordan, negotiating in desperation. Meanwhile, at the stables, the situation becomes more tense. Jordan, realizing that she is losing control of the situation, decides to make one last offer to Victor Newman. She tries to bargain, acting as if she can help the Newmans catch Ian Ward. Victor's words are like a knife cutting into Jordan's last hope. She realizes that her only insurance policy, her partnership with Ian, has expired. With no other choice, Jordan decides to choose the path that she believes will preserve her last shred of honor. She picks up the cup of tea, which everyone suspects is poisoned, and drinks it down in a tragic gesture. Jordan's eyes seem defiant, but also desperate. "If I have to leave this game," she thinks, "I will be the one to decide how I end up." Meanwhile, at the park, Sharon slowly regains her strength, with the encouragement of Mariah and the quick support of Nick. Though her body is weak, Sharon's spirit is growing stronger. The sight of her family reunited gives her the motivation to stand up and begin her journey to find freedom and peace. Although Jordan seems to have taken himself out of the picture, Ian Ward, the man behind much of the chaos, remains a threat. Ian is moving silently in the shadows, and the question is whether the Newmans can stop him before he can carry out any new plans. The events of this episode leave many questions and strong emotions. The unity of the Newman family is a guiding light in the darkest hours. Tessa, Mariah, Sharon, and the rest of the characters all face their own challenges, but they all prove that they are willing to fight to protect what they love most. The confrontation with Ian Ward is not over yet, and darkness still seems to hover.